Hello, League. It is I, your commissioner, here to give you a slightly different version of the recap and power rankings. Yes, in the same video, there will be no preview this week. I apologize. I am busy with other things that are more important than the meaningless sport that is football that we have made way too much time of our lives to. So without further ado, the recap and power rankings. First, the recap. I was debating if I should finish with this one, if I should start with this one. I think I'm going to start with this one. This is the Battle of Hoboken. Yes, a great battle indeed, where Waddle, Baby Waddle, John Tui advanced to 2-3, a much-needed win, and our poor dear friend Michael Russell, former two-time champion, is now 0-5. Russell had a good week, 102 points. Jared Goff played well. Pretty much everybody in his team played pretty decent, but it was only good enough to get him 102 points. Marvin Harrison looked at the ball and caught it this week. Omarion Hampton, though, he is injured, and somebody named Haskins is the $60 man who Russell will be running out there next week. Unfortunately, 102 points doesn't get it done. But for Tui, fortunately, 106 points does get it done. Now, Tui had outside of Seattle defense, who basically played for Russell with their -3 and Spencer Schrader, who got him 2. Tui had a really nice week. I mean, Rico Dowdle was quite the pickup. Travis Kelce played well. J.K. Dobbins played well. Troy Franklin did what he does. Jalen Waddle has shut me up. George Pickens played against the Jets. Easy. It was a good week for Tui. He put up 106 points and he won. He's 2-3. He needed the win. Tui advances. And poor Mr. Mike Russell, 0-5. There's still time, especially with the points in this league. It could be 0-13, 0-14 and make the playoffs. We've seen crazier things happen in this league. Just ask Christopher. But Tui advances with a victory. Not advances. He wins. I don't know why I keep saying advances. Next. Breakers into 12 gauges, which I shouldn't have said on YouTube, versus the neighborhood. John Brankus, 24 points from Emeka Ibuka, 6 points from Amari DiMercato. It could have been more. If you know, you know. Tyler Warren got him 10.4. Jalen Hurts, not a good passer of the football, but good enough to be a fantasy quarterback. Mr. Rich Pacella ends up with 99 points. It was good enough against Dylan's team, who Dylan did start Malik Washington, who did a Tony Snell game, nothing. A.J. Brown got him 43 yards, which is unfortunately one of his higher scoring weeks. Christian McCaffrey, as always, doing his thing, 19 points. Rachaad White had a nice week with the absence of Bucky Irving, but it wasn't enough for Dylan as he gets 82 points, and Richie gets to 3-2. Dylan falls to 2-3. Next, we have one of the more interesting matchups of the week. CD's TD's, Tom Gorman advancing to 3-2 with his victory, as Luke Bonomo, Nico the Impaler falls to 4-1, his first loss of the season. 74 points for Luke. Drake May had a good real-life game, not a great fantasy game. Nico Collins played well. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a monster. Cortland Sutton played well. Luke didn't really have a bad week. It was just Travis Etienne didn't have his normal week, and his quarterback was a little underperforming. I think other than that, Luke generally takes this week from his team. You get 10 more points from your quarterback, 7 or 8 more points from your running back, and you're right around that 90-point mark. He's 4-1. He can afford the loss. Tom Gorman ran out Jalen Tolbert, who put up a big old 0. Put out Khalil Shakir, who put up a 5. But it was enough because Pat Mahomes had a great game. Pat Mahomes is back. Jake Ferguson, once again, played against the Jets. Indianapolis defense did a great job. Thank you, Geno Smith. And it was enough for Cam Scattaboo and Tom Gorman to get his victory. He's 3-2. You take 94 points. Luke, 4-1. You can live with a loss. This is when you want to lose. You don't want to lose week 1 of the playoffs. Just ask Andy. He does that pretty often. Next, we have this was unfortunately for your commissioner, a laugher. Stokes put up 107 points. He advanced to 2-3. I put up 87 points. I fell to 2-3. Just a really underwhelming week from my defense. 1 point from Los Angeles. Thank you, Mac Jones. I had to start Wan'Dale Robinson due to buys. Never good. Derrick Henry, I drafted him this year. He sucks. Just my luck. Stokes and Justin Herbert. Make me eat my words. Ladd McConkey has a nice week. Jackson Smith and Jigba with his first week with Stokes had a nice week. Kyron Williams could have had a lot more points. Had a nice week. 107 points for Matt. He takes a nice victory here and advances to 2-3. Feeling much better about his team post-trade. I fall to 2-3. Dog shit team. Next, we have what I will call the luckiest man in fantasy right now. Dark pits of despair, Chris Gazzaro versus Pat McCann. Chris put up 96 points. It was actually some of his higher scoring weeks. And Pat only put up 82, so Chris was able to get a nice 14-point margin victory here. Jamar Chase showed up. That was nice for Chris. He might show up more with Joe Flacco. He might show up less with Joe Flacco. I'm not sure. Rashid Shaheed had a nice week. And Christopher was able to overcome his 5.4 points from his running backs, which going forward, could that be a problem? Yes. But when your wide receivers do what they did, and when Kaimi Fairbairn gets you 19 points, you put up 96, you take it and run. Starting Kyler Murray is a questionable decision going forward, but I'm sure Christopher will make the right decision and will definitely not overthink it, and will do everything in his power to get to 5-1. Excuse me. Pat McCann, 82 points. He did start Spencer Rattler, who got him 15 points. Justin Jefferson had a decent week. Jameson Williams did not do much, surprisingly, because everybody in that game did for the Lions. James Cook, underwhelming 4.9 from him. You know, if you get a normal James Cook week, Pat probably wins this week, but wasn't in the cards. 82 points, not a great week, but hey, Chris is the luckiest man in fantasy right now, so it is what it is. You got to live with it. Pat will be okay. He's 2-3. He's not 0-5. Sorry, Mike. And Christopher is 4-1, perhaps on his way to the playoffs. Last but not least, we have the matchup of Andy versus Kyle. Now, this one was tough. These two partial foes turned friends, turned enemies, turned frenemies. They did not like playing one another this week, but somebody had to win. The quarterbacks were matched up evenly. Justin Fields versus Matt Stafford. Garrett Wilson had a good week, but Kyle had some consistency on his wide receiver side between Brian Thomas Jr. for once, Devontae Adams, and Xavier Worthy. Jahmyr Gibbs got him 14 for Andy. Quinshon Judkins, the man who he's trying to trade desperately, got him 12.8. But what Kyle had that Andy could not answer to was Jonathan Taylor and Javonte Williams playing the Jets. 54 points from those two guys for Kyle. That's how you put up a 119 spot. Look, Kyle didn't have great weeks from his wide receivers, all things considered. He didn't have great weeks from kicker, from tight end, but it didn't matter. He got all his points from Matt Stafford, Jonathan Taylor, and Javonte Williams. Like that's 80 of his 120. So it was enough. Kyle gets to 4-1. He's on a nice little 4-game win streak. Andy falls to 2-3. But he does get, Mr. Bijan back this week. Something I'm sure he will remind all of us about. And, you know, you're 2-3. Everybody in this league's 2-3. So you take it, you get to next week, and you try to win. Pull the gas, get lucky. So without further ado, we go to the power rankings. At number 12, I have myself. My team's terrible. I drafted Derrick Henry. He sucks this year. I don't like my team. Drake London was not a second round pick. This is the first year that DJ Moore is going to have under 1,000 yards. My team stinks. I'm 12. 11 is Mr. Russell. He's 0-5. He has more points than me, though. He should be better than 0-5, but you are, unfortunately, what your record says you are, and 0-5 lands Mr. Russell at 11. This is one that people are going to get upset about. Many people will text me, will call me, will say, Steve, Commissioner, how could you do such a thing? How could you put this player at 10? And I'll say, listen, I'm just going based off the roster. At number 10 in the power rankings, I have Christopher Michael Gazzaro. Now, listen, Chris is 4-1. Chris has had a lot of luck, but I'm wondering if the luck will run out. I'm wondering if the commissioner will perhaps levy another curse. No, I won't do that. I shouldn't do that. I can't do that to Christopher. But I just fear that Christopher's team is perhaps peaked and injuries may catch up to him. And I don't know. I can't put Christopher any higher than 10th. He has like 10 more points than me. I can't put Christopher much higher than 10th. At number 9, this is where, I'll be honest, 9 to 4, you can put in any order. I had to put them in this order. If you want to tell me 9 is 4 and 4 is 9, fine. I agree with you. At 9, I have Tui. I like Tui's team. I think losing Malik Neighbors is why I have Tui at 9. That is simply the reason. Number 8, I have Dylan's team, who he has Christian McCaffrey, but they're all holes. And just like every other team, there are holes, but I think the holes land him at 8 in this current week. Things could change. At 7, I have Andy. Now, I like Andy's team. Let's see what he does with Bijan and Gibbs. Is he going to have enough at wide receiver? Can he trade Quinshon Judkins? To be determined. I have Andy at 7. At 6, I have Stokes. I like Stokes' team. Definitely better post-trade for him. He's got all the running backs in the world. But does he have enough at wide receiver? Does he have enough from his other players? Are his running backs going to keep it up? Probably, which is why I have Stokes at 6. It's firmly in playoff position. He's very happy with that. I'm sure he'll take that and run. At 5, I have Pat McCann. I think Pat has a good team. I think there's upside to Pat's team. I think he is primed for any week putting up 140 points. He is also possible putting up 60 points a week. But so far, Pat has played pretty well. I give Pat McCann here at number 5. At number 4, I have Tom Gorman. Now, I told you, at 9 through 4, you could really flip. I like Gorman's team. I think Gorman's team is settled even post Tyreek Hill. I think 4 is a reasonable spot, and I think the top 3 teams are clearly, in my opinion, the 3 best teams. At 3, I have Kyle, who, if his first-round pick was any good, he'd be even higher. But he's got Javonte Williams, which is looking like the pick of the year. He's got Jonathan Taylor, who's a stud. Kyle's got a really good base of a roster, and I think he's very happy with being number 3. He did start the season at number 12. People forget. Well, preseason 12 was Christopher. We all know that. But Kyle did start the season at number 12 post-week 1. He is now up to 3. At number 2, I have the Emeka Ibuka owner himself, Rich Pachala. Now, look, Rich has a really good team. Tyler Warren proved to be the guy. Get you guys, as they say. Rich is clearly very happy with his draft, and he's starting the Seattle backfield this week, which probably won't backfire because one of them runs the ball every other play. So I have Rich at number 2, and at number 1, I have Luke Bono. I think Luke has the best team. He's got the most points. I said it on draft day. The guy who's able to get 2 wide receivers in the first 2 rounds that should go round 1 is usually the player that has the best odds to win a championship. Dylan got it last year with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, inexplicably. Luke did it this year again with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Nico Collins. So, again, 1 to 12. I have Luke 1, Rich 2, Kyle 3, Gorman 4, Pat McCann 5, Stokes 6, Andy 7, Dylan 8, Tui 9, Gaz 10, Mike Russell 11, and myself 12. I wish everybody good luck. I do not have a play this week. I can't bet. My bets are horrible. Horrible. Whatever I tell you to bet, do the opposite. That's my play of the week. Do whatever I do differently. Good luck, Christopher.